about the history. If there'll be any questions, don't hesitate to ask. I hope I know the answer. If not, don't ask. You can check it on the internet. More or less everything there, part of what you're looking for, of course. So it all began with the Neanderthals, but as we only have 2 hours, we are not, I'm not going to bother you with these guys. And actually they didn't find much in this area, but we have a very important thing that can be seen in the National Museum. It's believed to be the oldest instrument in the world. It's a part of a bone with a hole through, 4 holes on the top, 1 at the bottom, a part of a flute that was played by our Neanderthals. So ours liked music, not like the others who didn't really care about it. Some more remains from a period that started some 7,000 years ago. In those days, in the south of Ljubljana, which is towards the coast, there was a big lake. There is no lake anymore, it's just a swamp, the marshes. And some people lived there for a few thousand years, building their huts on the lake, on the piles. These are the so-called pile dwellings, and the remains of these pile dwellings are on the UNESCO list. And in the marshes of Ljubljana they found a lot of stuff really, and one of the most important things is a big wooden wheel. It's like that big, and again it is the oldest wheel in the world, but that was found together in Mexico, so that is a very important part of the story. It's 5,200 years old, and you can see it in the town museum. First real settlement some 3,000 years ago, the so-called Urnfield culture, then the Celts were here, then the Romans were here. The Roman town was from here on this part. And today's main street, Slovenska cesta, Slovene Street, was Cardo Magna in the Roman times. And we have few remains also from the Roman period. So till the 6th century the Romans were here. Colonia Julia and Emona was the name of the town. Then they moved and slowly the Slovenians are coming. But there was not much going on in this area till the 10th century. First Slovene state was Carantania, seat of the state was in Carinthia in Austria. So quite big. From Austria towards Bavaria, towards Friuli in Italy. 2 centuries almost independent, then they joined the Bavarians against the Hungarians, and that was the end of the independence for us till 1991. So 10th century, slowly medieval town started to grow. First rulers, Spanheim family from Carinthia, Austria. From the 14th century on, the Habsburgs. 15th century, Ljubljana becomes a diocese. Maybe interesting, a few years prior to Vienna, Ljubljana was a diocese. Although Vienna was much bigger, much more important, but we said Ljubljana first, Vienna second. We succeeded with that project, so okay. And also interesting, first Bishop of Vienna also was from Ljubljana. His name was Juri Slavkona. So 16th century then was the time of Reformation. Protestantism was strong, more than 2/3 of the inhabitants were Protestants. An important period. We get first books in Slovene language, Bible was translated, we get the grammar. But at the end of the century, Jesuits came with a counter-reformation, and let's say they did their job very well because we have almost no Protestants anymore. We have one Lutheran church, Roman Catholic is the majority. So 17th century, not good. A lot of people left because of the religion. A lot of merchants and trade throughout the history was very, very important. One of the best routes from the coast, from Venice, Trieste, later on towards the inlands, led to Ljubljana. The 17th century not good, but 18th century, a lot of trade, a lot of money. They rebuilt everything, and this was a time of Baroque. So there is no Gothic, there is no Renaissance, it's Baroque and all. Beginning of the 19th century, from 1809 till 1813, Ljubljana is the capital of the Illyrian provinces. This was a French, Napoleonic state. It was much bigger than today's Slovenia. There is a part of Austria, Slovenia, half of Croatia, whole Croatian coast down to Dubrovnik, even to Boka Kotorska, today in Montenegro. Biggest Slovenia ever, a land that would be perfect for tourism. Austrian ski resort, Slovenia, Croatian coast, Dubrovnik. But that was 4 years only and not many. Then it shrinked again, became a part of Austria, Austro-Hungarian Empire, and in the end of the century, 1895, a strong earthquake. More than 10% of the buildings were completely destroyed. They made it look much worse than it was actually, as they knew that sooner or later the emperor would come to see what happened. And 3 weeks after the catastrophe, Franz Josef came from Vienna to Ljubljana. As it took worse, he gave much more money for the rebuilding of the town. That's what we are trying to do with European Union today, but not always that successful. So, till the end of the World War I, Austro-Hungarian Empire, then we joined the Kingdom of Serbia, the Kingdom of Austria, later Kingdom of Yugoslavia. During the World War II, up to Ljubljana was Italy, from Ljubljana onward Germany. So we had a border here between Italy and Germany for 2 years. Then Ljubljana is the capital of one of the 6 socialist republics in socialist Yugoslavia, and since 1991, the capital of the independent state. So 1991, Slovenia was first republic of ex-Yugoslavia that has declared independence. It was in June 1991, which was followed by one of the shortest wars in the history, the so-called 10 Days War. So the Yugoslav army then was sent to take over the border crossings with Italy, Austria. They didn't succeed, so after 10 days everything was finished. So yeah, and then we continued our story. So today Ljubljana has approximately 300,000 inhabitants with a surrounding 400,000, which is 20% of Slovenia. Brent was now very brief about it. If you get lost, which is impossible unless on purpose if you do it, or if you sit down and have a lot of okay. That maybe also it can happen. This is the Congress Square, Kongressni Trg. That building there is the university building. So everybody knows this place, so you simply come back, you are going to be back in approximately some less than 2 hours. As I said, this is really very unlikely. The church, Franciscan Church, Ursuline Church, Church of the Holy Trinity from the 18th century. And we have a big park and we have a big square, and the square is called the Congress Square, but let's move a little bit.